Welcome back to Maggie and Perloff. This is always one of our favorite weeks of the year, Perloff, and we're not even the ones getting drafted. Bryce Young is the Heisman Trophy winner 2021. He's the presumptive #1 pick in the 2023 NFL Draft. He's joining us today on behalf of Snickers Ice Cream. He's got a Bryce Cream bar, which is pretty cool. We'll ask you about that in just a moment. But Bryce, I mean, now we're getting closer and closer to the day. What are the feelings like as you're on the doorstep of getting drafted?
Yeah, I mean, it's surreal. This is obviously something that you dream of, and I've dreamed of my whole life. And, you kind of know it's inevitable one day, when the draft process starts, one day it's going to come. But, it's been a long process, and now that it's finally here around the corner, it's super exciting.
Bryce, now it's time when everyone's putting out their mock drafts and there's been so much written. How much attention have you paid to the sort of the media takes on you from everything from the way you played, your size? Do you read stuff, and are you reading mock drafts this week?
No, I haven't. For me, I'm pretty big on controlling what I can control. So, I feel like there's always going to be opinions, whether they be positive or negative about me or about other people. Same thing with the mock drafts. They're always going to change, they're always going to go up and down. But that's stuff that I can't control at all. I don't really put stock in any of that stuff. I'm excited wherever it may be. I don't know where I'm going, but I'm super excited on Thursday to find out. And really, all my focus has been, doing everything I can to be ready, so that when I do hear my name called, whatever team it is that takes a chance on me, I'm in the best shape and in the best position to give everything I can to that team.
Well, just in the full disclosure for our audience, Vegas at least believes that you are going to the Carolina Panthers. The odds on that are through the roof. That not for you, though. That's just for the public who might be listening. It's funny because, Bryce, athletes, we feel like are different. Some athletes, and there's been so many amazing things written and said about you, and rightfully so, but some athletes kind of file away any kind of grievance, right? Michael Jordan was famous about this. Any kind of slight or perceived slight went into a file in his brain that he never forgot. Are you someone like that who pays attention to every slight and thinks, one day I'm going to show all of you just how wrong you were?
No, that's not how I approach it at all. Honestly, I feel like everyone's entitled to their own opinion. Everyone, I feel like that's the beauty of sports. You get to talk about, you get to make predictions. You get to talk about your favorite players and who you like and who you don't like. And, I think that there's beauty in that. And I don't think there's anything wrong. For me, again, I understand, the opinions that there are about me, and, I know what, I know what people may think or what people may believe, but again, I know myself, and I'm big on controlling what you can control and focusing on that. And, for me, regardless of what other people think, whether they believe in you or don't, I'm someone who's internally motivated, and I'm not big on, really needing or trying to draw motivation from other factors. That's stuff that wavers, that comes and goes, whether it's negative or positive. So, I don't really put stock into that. I don't file stuff away. For me, it's just being the best version of myself that I can be and pushing myself to that every day.
Well, Bryce, you have this reputation as a nice guy. What do people not know about how competitive you are?
Yeah, I mean, I'm extremely competitive, in really everything that I do, especially that I put in that category. But football wise and everything athletically, I'm extremely competitive. Maybe it may come off in a different way. Maybe not. It may be perceived differently, or may not be in a way that or presented in a way that people may be used to. But I think if you ask anyone who's been on a field with me or done something competitive with me, I think it's very clear to see it and very easy to feel from the people around me. I definitely pride myself in that, and being the best version of myself, and doing everything I can to win for the team and to accomplish those team goals. So I'm definitely someone who's extremely competitive.
Bryce Young is our guest. All right, Bryce, give us something non-football. The last thing that you got so competitive at, you were like, all right, maybe I should chill. This is just a game of Monopoly, or this is just a pickup basketball game. Like, what was the last time you really got competitive outside the football field?
Yeah, it definitely was a pickup basketball game. It definitely was. So just a game of basketball, especially with that, because for a while I did play basketball. I did take that very seriously, so it's easy for me to get back into that mode. But Yeah, very recently I was playing basketball, and I had to remind myself that it wasn't all or nothing, and to take a couple steps back. So yeah, it definitely has happened recently.
Well,
Yeah, let's
everyone
pick
has
up, not the Iron Bowl, Bryce.
well, everyone has NFL player comps. Who's your NBA player comp? Who do you model your basketball game after?
My
And then apply
basketball
to
game.
football. Who's that?
My basketball game, I'd say like obviously nowhere near as good, but I think comparison wise, kind of who I play like is kind of like Darius Garland.
Oh,
Darius Garland, nice. A
yeah.
point guard, distributing. Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit of that. Handle, know what's necessary, try to score. That's at least what I try to be like. I'm far from my prime in basketball, so but yeah, that's what I feel like it compares to.
We're talking to Bryce Young on behalf of Snickers Ice Cream. We'll get to that in a second. Real quick, while we have you, Bryce, did you get to watch the Alabama spring game? And tell us what you think of the competition at quarterback with Ty Simpson and Jalen Milroe.
Yeah, I definitely was able to watch the spring game, and it was just super cool to see the whole team go out there and compete. It is a super special environment. It's surreal that being able to participate in just the environment that a spring game can bring out. The fans, the best fans retention, they go out and they show that, and it's really fun. And quarterback wise, it was really fun to see both of my brothers and J Mill and Ty, both go out there and perform and show what they can do. I think that's one of the beauties of Alabama football is the competition. Coach Saban is huge on that at any position of bringing in and competing every day and earning, playing time, earning spots. And, I'm super excited for two young guys who have such bright futures ahead of them. And I'm super excited to keep watching them and follow their journey. So I'm just a fan watching both of my guys go out there and have fun.
We're curious who's going to win that job. Bryce Young is joining us on behalf of Snickers. He's got a Bryce cream bar. Get to that. Just a couple more for you, Bryce. We appreciate the time. We know this is an exciting time of year. It's a busy time of year. So on the outside, we have conversations about your height, about your weight. It's kind of probably odd that total strangers are talking about your height and weight in a way like this. But inside the buildings, when you're talking to the actual teams, are you having conversations about that, or do the teams not bring it up?
Yeah, I haven't talked at length about it at all, really. It's throughout the entire process of the combine and visits and Zooms, things like that. I haven't gotten many questions about it at all. Maybe one or team, and it's a quick yes no question, and some teams not at all. It hasn't been a lot about that. It's more about the X's and O's, about football, about philosophies on the field, off the field. I think that's mainly been what those discussions have been about.
What is the key for quarterbacks who are a bit shorter than we're used to, a bit slighter than we're used to? What is the key to having success on the next level, in your opinion?
I think for me, I pride myself in being able to think through situations and get to a point where I can, be able to react and process as quickly and as efficiently as I can. Whether that be the offense that that I'm running, or the defense I'm going against, and all the other intricacies that come with playing the position. I think for me, that's what I focus on and pride myself in. And I try to do my best in making efficient decisions when you do process all that stuff. But to be honest with you, that's how I feel like the quarterback position, regardless of height, that's what I put stock into anyway. And maybe that's because I don't know what it feels like to play the position as a super tall guy. So I guess I couldn't really give advice for what's better if you're tall versus what's better if you're short, because I've only done it one way. But for me, that's what I put stock in. That's what I believe is what I try to work on, pride myself in, and I think for me, that's how I look at playing the position.
Now, Bryce, you're partnering with Snickers Ice Cream to help fans chill out with the first ever Bryce Cream Bar. This sounds unbelievably delicious. How'd you come up with this?
Yeah, it was a collaboration with the amazing people over at Snickers, and I'm super excited to be a part of the of this year's draft, and I'm going to be doing that alongside Snickers Ice Cream. And like you said, we're together, we're partnering, and we're going to try to help NFL fans chill out with limited edition Snickers Bryce Cream bars, which again is something I'm super proud of, super excited for. Everyone can visit Snickers.com/Bryce Cream Bar, and you can go there to enter to win, enter to win a chance to win some of these treats for everyone. And again, it's something that I'm super proud of. I'm a huge thanks and shout out to the people at Snickers who, put in a lot of hard work to make that happen. And this is a collaborative effort, but it's something that's limited time. So I'm excited for it to be happening.
Honestly, it's almost as big of an achievement to have your own ice cream bar or candy bar than like having your own shoe. And I really mean that. This is rarefied air. So congratulations on that. Last one for you for me, Bryce, which is, what have your conversations been like in the pre-draft process with Frank Reich and the coaches in Carolina?
I think it's been a lot of getting to know each other and them trying to go over their scheme and impart that, and kind of feel each other out in that process. They want to know obviously what I know, how I operated things at the college level. They want to know what it would be like to coach me, as I'm sure they've done with all the other prospects in the draft as well. Just trying to talk to me about their offense and what they want out of a quarterback in their position. Again, like I know they've done with everyone else. So I've done everything I can to try to put my best foot forward. Be honest and show who I am to them. And I'm honestly really honored that they've taken the time to have those conversations with me, and to be able to invite me to those rooms. So I'm super grateful to have had the meetings that I've had with them.
Do you feel like you guys clicked?
I can only, it's one-sided. I can only speak for myself there, but I definitely, it's definitely great hearing all the coaches and hearing, their insight on their philosophies and how they taught things. So for me, it's an amazing coaching staff. I really enjoyed the meetings and I learned a lot from being there. So, I can only speak for myself, but I definitely had a great time during the meetings.
Big ice cream guys there too, by the way, in Carolina. Deliver a couple of Bryce creams.
You can hand them out to the whole rookie class. Bryce, can't tell you how much we appreciate this. I enjoy every moment of this week. I know it's going to fly by in a blur, but enjoy it. And we hope to catch up with you again soon. Congrats on all your success.
Same here. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you, Bryce. We're back with more Maggie and Perloff in just moments. Stay tuned.